One of the best OG colorways of the Jordan 1 High is back, and it follows up another legendary OG colorway, the Satin Breads, and it was only 3 weeks ago that shoe dropped. So it's a very short amount of time. Jordan Brand is bringing out the heavy hitters towards holiday season, and this time it's another shoe in the Reimagined series. So we had the Lost and Found Jordan 1s, the Jordan 3 Reimagined, and now this shoe, Air Jordan 1 High Royal Reimagined. Now, unlike the other Reimagined shoes where they pre-age some aspects of those shoes, this shoe, the entire upper sole, is a reimagining. So it's a big makeover, even though from images from far away, it might just look like the 1985 or retro version of the shoe, but you definitely know by now, the entire upper sole, the materials that's used, has been swapped out. So no more leather, at least leather that you think of when you think of sneakers, because technically nubuck and suede are forms of leather, but for all intents and purposes, no more leather on the shoe. And this shoe is dropping on November 4th for $180. It is a very good way to kick off the month of November. And the Royal colorway, this black and blue colorway, obviously it is an OG colorway of the Jordan 1, came out in 1985. Michael Jordan himself never actually wore this shoe on an NBA court. He did wear it in a photo shoot though, and it became like a very famous poster. What was it called? The Flight Guy poster, I believe that's what it was called. And the Royal has come back a few times. The most recent time it was in 2017, and it's also gone through that satin treatment. Can't remember exactly what year it was. I believe it was 2017 as well. So we have seen this shoe pretty recently, but obviously this one is probably the most drastic change they've made to this colorway. And originally when the Jordan 1s first came out, it was retailing at a price of $65 in 1985. Convert that to 2023 dollars, it's about $189. So actually, this being $180 is slightly underpriced compared to what people had to pay in 1985. Now, if I had to choose between the Bread colorway and the Royal colorway, shoo, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one. I might have to go Bread just because it has that reference to the Chicago Bulls uniform. Michael Jordan is still one of my favorite players ever, so I have to go with the Bread colorway. But if you just look at it in a vacuum, take out Michael Jordan, take out Chicago Bulls, just look at the black and red color compared to the blue and black color. I might actually go with this one. There's just a coolness to this blue. Love it. Let me know which colorway you would prefer in the comments below. And the upper sole of the shoe, so the swoosh, as well as the heel counter and the ankle collar and the toe box, very clearly blue suede. And this suede, it's more on the hairy type of suede. It's pretty nice suede, but in a vacuum, personally, I don't love that hairy suede. I like suede that is like a lot more smooth, like on a lot of New Balance shoes. Feels really premium to the touch. That's the type of suede that I prefer. Not to say this is like super bad, crappy suede, but it's just hairier than I would like. And on the black base layer, it is nubuck, and it's that type of nubuck where you can see like the grain of the leather come through. And remember, nubuck and suede are just different forms of leather. It's all leather, and I really like that. It's very similar to the Jordan 12 Arma Manere, the black pair, that you could very clearly see like the grain of that nubuck leather come through. Similar to this pair. I don't know if you can see it as clearly in the video, but up close, it's a bit more obvious, and I like it. So compare this shoe, the reimagined version, to the leather version of the Royal. Obviously the one that's leather, the OG one, how it's originally made, that's always gonna have a slight edge over something that's kind of recreated, that has gone through a makeover. But I think there are two different kind of use cases. For the leather pair, it's got that shine that leather has, especially when you put like a coating over it. It's got more like a pop. And this pair, because of the materials used, it's more dull, it's a little bit more subtle. It almost has kind of like a worn look when you take it out of the box. That's the whole kind of vibe with these reimagined shoes, Lost and Found, the Jordan 3s. And I think the materials on this shoe, it lends itself better to that look than if it was just like plain leather. And of course, you'll see the Wings logo that's debossed on the ankle collar. And the tongue of the shoe, a very standard Jordan 1 tongue with Nike Air branding on the top and that beautiful, delicious blue. And the Jordan 1s comes with a rubber cup sole with a Nike Air unit on the heel. And thankfully for this shoe, even though it is part of the Reimagined series, it came with a white midsole, it looks great, it really pops, and of course the iconic Jordan 1 rubber outsole. They didn't change anything on the outsole, kept it original, no reimagining there. And if you're curious, the rubber outsole of the Jordan 1 was inspired by the Air Force 1 rubber outsole that began to use like a pivot or circular traction, and that was meant for bigger basketball players back in the day. When people used to actually post up, they would pivot, they would do a drop step, and that traction was meant to make it easier for them to perform those moves. And this shoe does come with one extra set of laces in that blue color, and boy, I cannot choose between the two. The default black laces speaks for itself. Look how slick that looks. But that blue color, I think it looks really nice as well. Yeah, I can't choose, I'm torn. Both of the laces on the shoe, they work perfectly. And the box of the shoe, staying true to the colorway, blue and black Nike Jordan 1 box, and inside the box, just paper. Now moving on to size and comfort, I'm a size 9.5 true to size, I have wide feet, but for Jordan 1s, I stick true to size. It fits really well. This shoe, in my experience, it fits like any other Jordan 1. So whether or not you have wide feet, I would recommend just sticking true to size. In terms of comfort, it's not the best. Jordan 1s is a very old shoe. The insole's very generic, crappy dream style insole. And the Nike Air unit and the heel, the cushioning is just like barely there. Very flat to the ground, the way Michael Jordan really wanted it. But if you're wearing Jordan 1s and you were like on your feet all day, it really does start to take your toll on your feet. I was in New York City once, I think 1 or 2 years ago, and I was wearing the Jordan 1s and I walked from lower Manhattan to around Midtown. So that's a significant walk. And my feet, they really were starting to feel sore. So comfort wise, especially through the lens of 2023, it's not the most comfortable shoe. However, one thing I do really like about the Jordan 1s is the padding around the ankle collar. It's very soft, very nicely padded inside. So the Jordan 1's one of those shoes where even though it's not the most comfortable, it just looks so beautiful. You just gotta have it. And that brings the total sole score of the Jordan 1 Royal Reimagined to 16 out of 20. A pretty good score compared to other general releases, and actually the same score as the Jordan 1 Satin Bread, which I think makes sense. Both OG colorways, both switched up the materials. So in terms of this colorway, I really like the colors on the shoe. I love the Royal colorway. I really like black sneakers, probably more than the average person. So when there's a black based sneaker, it really is up my alley. And I really love this blue. It's almost got this like ice cold cool factor to it. I really like the colorway of the shoe. And in terms of materials, the suede, even though it's nice, it's not my favorite. It's a little hairier and drier than I prefer. I really like that super smooth suede, like the MX1 Ugly Ducklings, but I do really like the black nubuck. You can see some of the grains of the leather come through. It feels nice to the touch. And Jordan 1s, like I said before, not the most comfortable shoe. It's got some weight to it. It also has very minimal cushioning, very flat to the ground. The one saving grace is the padding inside and around the ankle. Really well done. And in terms of versatility, Jordan 1s, one of the most versatile, timeless, classic, iconic, legendary, all the good words that you can think of. And this royal colorway, I think it's so easy to wear. Black pants, white t-shirt, you're pretty much good to go. Super versatile colorway. It's hard to see such a beloved and iconic OG colorway of such an iconic shoe look significantly different up close, but I really do think there's a place for both. As I mentioned before, the leather version of the shoe, the original tech specs, that has a different look to it. It's just a little bit more pop, a little bit more shinier. But for this shoe, because of the treatment and the materials used on this shoe, it just gives it a more vintage look. And of course, people have their preferences. Some real like purists, they just want OG colorways to look nearly identical to what came out back in 1985. And that's fine if you do. But for me, I don't mind when they try and switch things up. And I really do think, personally, there's a place for both in my rotation. Real quick, I do want to mention on November 1st, if you go to my website, you can sign up to be a Sole Inclined member, members with benefits. So for $8 a month, you'll get ad-free videos, you'll get early access to every single video. So as soon as I finish editing it, I'll upload it. You'll be able to watch, and you'll also get 4 exclusive videos every month. I do want to grow a community. I do want to make this more of a full-time thing, and I do want to spend more time making more videos. So your support, really appreciate it. But if you don't want to support, totally cool with me. I'm still really appreciative and grateful if you watch my videos just on YouTube. So that's it. Thanks for watching Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 1 High Royal Reimagined. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.